Okay, so this is going to be a diaphragm change on an XP, which is pretty much the same as every other machine that we use. So the first thing we want to do with the XP is we want to block the plate, remove the cart. Now with the baler, you don't have to do any of that. You basically can open the door, put your C-clamp in, and start work immediately. XP is a little bit different, but since this one's lower in the ground, this is the one we're going to be using for the instruction. So, first thing is first, take our C-clamp, put the lid up here, latch it, going from the side, and butt up to the hinge. Make sure it's on the plate here, tighten it down. Alright. Next thing we're going to want to do is release our springs at the top. So that, even though it's still fairly low, we're still going to need a ladder or step stool. So that there, counter pin comes out, other counter pin comes out. All right. Push that down. Right. And these things are just ribbed so they're a press fit into the cylinder. Make sure you can see me here. All right, so you got that there. All right. Take our spring hook / puller tool here. Pull this one. Ooh. Might need a bigger ladder. Tell you what, I'm just going to lever it out. All right, so switching to a different tool here. So ideally with this one, you got to be up over top of it so that you can get enough force to pull up on the spring. My ladder's a little too short, so I have to go to our blue spring tool. Put this one in. Release that one. All right, we want to release that first one kind of gently as to not dislodge our C-clamp here on the side. As you can see, since I'm going to do I know I'm doing the diaphragm, I leave the top valve connected. Well, not connected by the hose, but actually screwed down into the plate itself. All right, so let this guy settled, hook on the spring, and then pull it up and out of the hook, and gently let her down. All right. Okay. Set that aside. All right, so both our springs are released. These little black caps will come off, because otherwise you'll lose them. All the other little nut caps need to come off as well. You know, pocket knife, screwdriver, just to remove these. They just press on nice and easy. Okay. Get all my little plastic nut caps off. Now I need a 17mm ratchet or impact. All right, just so you can see here. Fancy little toolbox here. And I'll need 19 for later for the center bolt. I'll show you that. 17. 1/2 inch extension, 1/2 inch ratchet, 3/8 is okay. But you want to stick to 3/8 or 1/2 inch just because you need that torque and you need that strength. So first thing we'll do, loosen every single one. Get a sharp tap when you do it. Sometimes these little center rods will actually spin with the bolt, so you want to kind of make sure that that ain't happening. If it doesn't, a little bit, it's fine. All right, so I got them broke loose. Next thing I want to do, grab my impact here behind me. My little extension. It's not my preferred extension, but it'll work. All right. There goes my ratchet. So, first one comes off. All right. And some of these rods will drop down. Don't be surprised. This one just did, that's fine. Set everything aside. All right, the other one here. All right. And little angle brackets are easy because you can capture the washer and the nut lifting up on the thing. All right, 4 more to go. Loosen that one. Drop this one. All right, we want to move on me a little bit, so at this point, you got to do a plier trick. And it does work better with a small pipe plier, but this will have to work for now. All right, got a little bit of scar in there. Okay, got that. My record for this job, believe it or not, is 15 minutes. So, if you can beat the record, I want some honorable mention. If you feel like responding with a video, more than welcome. All right, so the whole reason we leave this connected is that we make ourselves a handle to lift the plate off with. Okay, I'll go ahead and move the camera so that you can see down inside here real quick. Just go pick up the tripod. All right, so what we're doing here is we're going to remove this center bolt, and then we've got our diaphragm. As you can see, we've got this big O-ring seal here. So you definitely want to bring along some heavy grease with you, just so you can coat the seal so it'll stay in that groove. If you don't, they can roll on you when you're trying to put it back together. It's really a headache, and you don't want to do that to yourself. So let me go ahead and get this set up in another location so you all can see. All right. Gotta figure this out here real quick. All right. Stand by here. Okay. Now, as I have this thing precariously balanced, I will hopefully you can see that. All right. So, center bolt, 19 millimeter. All right. Got that guy out. We want to keep our extension as a punch tool. And I'll show you why this is so important. All right, you're going to have a lot of oil and a lot of fluid on top of this thing when you're working on it. So if you're one of those types that doesn't like to get your hands dirty, rubber gloves ahead of time. And at this one, we want to go to the side of the cylinder, hit it, and flip it like a coin, right? All right, and that is the diaphragm that is now successfully removed. The new unit, we would basically coat the sides here with grease as much as possible, slip it in sideways like so, and flip it back into the cylinder. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe my hands here to do this. A slippery tool is a dangerous tool. There's a joke there, but I'll keep it clean. Alright, so you got that there. Most important thing, and the reason I deleted my video on the first one, is I actually forgot to put the center bolt in there and put everything back together. I had to do it again on video, so it's kind of embarrassing. All right, kind of wiggle it around until you find the piston pole, catch a couple of threads. Still haven't found that yet. So sometimes you're on top of a ladder and underneath the shelf, so it's a little challenging to find those threads. Okay, so I got it started. Switch back to my impact. Now we're going to tighten. Okay, on a side note, with all the oil, safety glasses might be helpful. Granted, it's non-toxic oil, but still, it's a pain when you get it in your face, and it tastes real bad. Okay, so we're ready for the top plate. So, at this stage of the repair, we would be lining up the new O-ring, or not. I mean, this one is in good shape. It's not compressed in. It's still, if you look at it at eye level, you can see a little fraction of the O-ring seal on it. So we'll basically, there's a lip on this top plate that fits into the inner diameter of this seal. I mean, the cylinder. So tap this down, and I want to line that up just so. Maybe kind of spin it into place. There we go. That way I know I didn't pinch my seal. Give it one good turn to make sure I didn't pinch my seal. All right, got everything back in place. Now I can start my reassembly. And you know, you also need to kind of twist things back in place here and there to get those long metal runners to line up as well. So, got this one here. Actually, it goes on the other side. Alright, so bracket, washer, nut. All right, just kind of work my way around here. All right. Now that you've seen all that, go ahead and move this thing back out of the way so I can work effectively. Alright. Okay, so one of the pains in the butt of dealing with this one is these two runners. You've got this bracket that the lid engages to. So I kind of got to get those up in there. Washer and a nut on this one. Right. You just get it finger tight for now. That's all you need. Washer and a nut for this one. And the washer does have a side, so you got this is the face side, and then the back side is completely flat. So flat side down, tapered side up. And it's not a mission critical thing that, you know, you get that right, but, you know, for looks and aesthetics, it's, you know, that's the way it came off. And it's the way it should go back together, like factory new. So, next one, get our little angle dangle bracket here. Nut and washer. Set that there. That's not that one. That. Right. Okay. Goes there. Goes here. Ooh, well. There's a lot of oil in that cylinder. Okay. Nut and washer again. Get a total of 6 of these. So if you finish up the job and you find that you have 5, you might want to start checking the floor before whoever site you're at decides to start sweeping. Got that hooked up, that's good. And we retighten this thing similar to the way you would put on you would tighten a tire down on a car. Those of you that know how to do that. So we don't need the 19 anymore. We can set this extension over to the side. There's our 17mm socket. And easiest way, or the way I'm going to do it. Oh, yeah, I guess I need the adapter. All right, tighten, zip, 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 zip. Boom, boom, boom. Here. And this one. All right. So we give it a little bump, you know, not full impact on it. Now I want to go around it again in a star pattern. 1. Set that aside, plug this in. We need to bring our springs back up to where we can attach them again. I know you're thinking you're missing something. You're right, I am, but I'm not quite ready for that step yet. because I like to do it in particular order. So, catch my spring. I spring to my tool. Get it up to about here. And you can do this before. Actually, yeah, this one will. Oops, that one, that's fine. We'll get it here in a second. Use the one from the other side. All right. Pull this one up. Bring it up so high so you can see the spring. Make sure it's still on that hook securely. Line it up. Set it in the hook. Same thing, other side. I mean, the tool that you're going to be shipped though is going to be this guy. And this one's, you know, hand strength pulling it up. This tool is more designed for, you know, we've got a ceiling tile above, we've got plenty of running room. We can work this tool easier. You're going to run into some sites where there might be a shelf right above this. So just heads up. Nice thing about the restaurant shelving is it's modular, so it's pretty easy to take down and stack. Right. Got my hook. Finger out of the way. Raise it up. Yep, got a good bite on it. You notice I try to use the sleeve to realign the springs as much as possible, because if it was to break loose off the hook, I've actually had it where it's actually tore my thumb open. Real painful. And you know, not very classy when you're trying to repair something at somebody's location. You know, bleeding all over their equipment's not cool, unfortunately. Well, I mean, fortunately, whatever. You know what I mean. Sorry, I'm not the most eloquent of speakers here. Not when I'm in grunt mode anyway. Alright, cotter pins in. Yeah, normally I would test this, but this is a brand new showroom machine. I've done this so many times, it really doesn't matter. I should have run it down before I put the cotter pins back in. That's fine. Alright, well, I had a choice on that one. Alright, plug my air hose in. Come over here and hit this one at a different angle. There we go. Popped in. Alright. Hang my little tool up here. Again. Restore it to the way it was. Alright, now it's time for cleanup. I want to release my C-clamp here. Alright, bring it outside. Okay. All my little clips and caps and everything. I'll just pop those back on as I go around here. Alright, so get that out the way, get my tools out of the way. Alright, so we've done all that. We want to test our unit. Alright, so we got it back together. Now it's test time. Make sure we did everything right. Put pressure to it. Bring the whole thing down. Okay. At this point, this plate was a little bit bouncy on the way down. So the trick with that one would be to disconnect this air hose, run oil into the hose, plug it in after the repair, and run oil through it as you take that first stroke after you've repaired it. So I should have charged this line with air tool oil first, just to lubricate the cylinder even better. But we would have greased the living daylights out of it anyway, so that would have been taken care of either way. So we've got it in lock, lift it up, we'll let the plate sit there for about a good 60 seconds. You just want to make sure that this plate isn't creeping back up. So it's a good seal. That should actually broke it even if it was good. So, for the purposes of the video, we'll say that this is done. No air leaks, minutes gone by, plate's still holding pressure, which means the cylinder's still holding pressure, which means the inner cylinder is good, the O-ring is good, the seal up here is good. So, and all the diaphragms pretty much on our equipment is all the same. You always will have to block the plate up, release the springs to take off those top brackets, because without taking those off, you can't ever access that. You can't pull the top lid off to get to the inner cylinder seal. So, relatively simple, few steps, tools needed on it, C-clamp, 1/2 inch or 3/8 ratchet, with a 19 millimeter and a 17 millimeter in the set, 17 for the bolts that connect to the top plate, 19 for that center bolt that holds the diaphragm to the piston hole inside, and what am I missing here? I'd say basic hand tools, and then the spring puller, which will be shipped out with that particular job. So as you can see, this one's holding there still. I'm sure it's been over a minute at this point. So this one's good to go and can go back in operation. And just a heads up to give you an idea here. If there are any requests on repairs on any of the lineup, feel free to comment in the comment section. I will read it. This is not quite a professional operation, but we can work together on that. So just so you can see the service department. Thanks for watching.